It was the night before Christmas. I was closing down for business in my little prison shop. When the bell on the door.
Hey you guys, welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. I know I've been gone for a while, but I'm back for now. If you're new here, my name is Josie and I'm a wife and a mother to two little ones, a new mother to two little ones. I just had my second 3 weeks ago. I'm 3 weeks postpartum in this video. And so today I'm back and we're going to be doing a very chatty Christmas video. I'm going to be chatting about my crazy labor and delivery story all throughout. And then I'm also going to be, of course, doing some Christmas festivities like cooking, baking cookies with my daughter, gingerbread cookies. And I'm trying to be real intentional on like spending quality time with her when the baby's asleep because it's been a huge change for her. But we're going to be doing that. We're going to be wrapping gifts and just doing all the Christmas festivities as I chat with you guys. So if you have gifts to wrap or any cleaning to do or anything of that sort, and you just want to put on this video and listen to me chat my life away, then this is the video for you. But first, before we get into that, I did want to thank Rokid for sponsoring today's video. So since we're going to be wrapping Christmas gifts today, I did want to share with you guys Rokid. Rokid specializes in the research and product development of mixed reality and artificial intelligence, and their mission is to make consumer AR accessible for everyone. So today they sent me their new Rokid AR Joy pack, which consists of their Rokit Max AR glasses, which I'm showing you guys here, and their new Rokid station. So with the Rokid station and the Rokid Max, you can now access anything in Google Play and dive into the Android TV experience anytime and anywhere. The Rokid Max gives you the ability to have a portable Android TV experience on a 360-inch screen and is compatible with a variety of different devices like Android phones, gaming devices like Xbox and PS5, and they even support screen mirroring with the iPhone 15. Now, while all that is amazing, the Rokid Station now makes it so that you don't need any of that to access the Rokid Max experience. The Rokid Station is basically like having a portable Android TV in your pocket because you connect it to the glasses and can instantly access all things like YouTube, Prime Video, Disney Plus, and more without having to be connected to any other device. So you can literally have a movie theater experience on the bus, on the train if you like. I remember I used to have a 2-hour train ride to my job back in the days, and these would have been perfect for that long train ride to keep me entertained and kill time and enjoy some privacy. So I was amazed when I put these on, you guys. The new technology we have today will never cease to amaze me. I put on a movie on Disney Plus and it was literally like being in a movie theater. And they have thought of everything, honestly. It's lightweight, portable, amazing sound quality, and it even has adjustable vision for those of us who wear glasses, which help me. So in my opinion, these would be a great Christmas gift for anyone, a tech lover, a gamer, your son, your husband. My husband has been using these, so who wouldn't want access to a 360-inch screen at home during travel or quite literally anywhere? If you're struggling with gift ideas, I think this is it. If this sounds like something you or someone you're gifting would enjoy, they are actually having a sale on the Rokid AR Joy pack so that you could experience this at a great price too. And I will leave all the information and links in my description so that you make sure to check it out. Don't wait, you guys, and thank you again to Rokid for sponsoring today's video. Now we're about to get into all the juicy details I know that many of you have been wanting to hear on my labor and delivery and how everything happened if you've been following me here on YouTube for a while. But first, if you do hear sirens in the background, in my neighborhood, the fire departments do a Santa parade every year, and this is actually the day that they're doing it as I'm recording this voiceover. So if you do hear that, that's what that is. But in this video, I'm going to be baking with my daughter and, making hot cocoa and all the Christmas festivities and wrapping, but I'm really not going to be talking about that. I'm just going to be chatting with you guys, kind of like the chat with me's that I used to do back in the day. If you've been following me here on YouTube for a while, where I would just chat throughout the whole thing. I do this every now and then because you guys are like my girls and I love to just chat and talk to you. And plus, I asked if you guys wanted to know about my labor and delivery story because it was pretty crazy and intense compared to my first. And so, yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. So So I'm just going to jump straight in, and the reason why this labor and delivery story is so crazy to me is because it was complete night and day difference from my first. And it's funny because my friend and everybody was telling me to don't compare pregnancies or babies because every pregnancy and baby is different, and this could not be a better example. But going into getting closer to my due date, I was kind of going based off last time. So if you don't know, then with first babies, they usually say that your baby comes closer to 40 weeks or even past your due date because it's the first time you're having a baby and your body is not, stretched out, or your body hasn't gone through this before. So it generally takes longer for a first time mom to go into labor and for the whole labor and delivery. So with my first, I actually went into labor at 38 weeks, and I had her at 38 weeks. And so with that, that was what I was going off of and betting on this pregnancy, because I was humbled really, really quick, you guys, because I was like, okay, my first time I had her at 38 weeks. That means my second one is going to come even sooner, because first time moms usually don't deliver early, and I did. And so the second one is going to be smooth and this and that. And yeah, I was humbled real quick, because if you follow me on Instagram, you know how frustrated I was. We were getting closer and closer and closer to my due date. We passed 38 weeks and I was not going into labor. What I did have leading up to when I actually was in labor was false labor. But I'm not talking about Braxton Hicks that are, all over the place. I'm talking about like actual false labor. I think they call it predominant labor. So for about 2 weeks before I actually went into labor, I was having these really intense false labor pains in the nighttime, and they were 5 minutes apart, which, if you know, you're supposed to wait until your contractions are 5 minutes apart, lasting for a minute, and for at least an hour. They stay consistently that way. So every single night that would happen to me for, I kid you not, like 2 weeks. They were really intense. I had to breathe through them. It was basically like labor. Like, it felt like labor, and they would last all night. But then I would say, okay, I'm not going to go into the hospital at night. I didn't want to take my daughter in the middle of the night to my in-laws, and I just didn't want to do all that. So I said I'll sleep it off. I mean, not sleep it off, but I'll just try to go to sleep, and then we'll go to the hospital in the morning. And every single morning when I woke up, they dwindled down and they completely faded by, like, as I was making breakfast and stuff like that. And this would happen every day for like 2 weeks. And I was so frustrated because every time I thought I was in labor, I texted my in-laws, okay, I think this is it. I'm gonna take Eliana, so pay attention to your phone and blah blah blah. And then in the morning they would dwindle down. So another thing that happened to me is that after all this was going on for a while, I went to my doctor so that she can check if I was dilated. And after going through this for so long, I was like so convinced, okay, I have to be at least 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters dilated, because you can also be dilated weeks before you go into labor. So I was just like, I have to be at least like 2-3 centimeters dilated, because I've been having these contractions for like 2 weeks and they've been strong and intense. And she checks me and I was not even a centimeter. She says I was a fingertip, which is like half a centimeter. If you've never been pregnant before, you have to get to 10 centimeters to deliver, and I was not even a centimeter, fingertip. So that discouraged me so much. My last couple of days before giving birth, I was so discouraged. I got to a point where it's just like, I don't even want to do anything anymore. I was doing so much things. I was having the dates. I was walking. I was going on the yoga ball. I was doing all of that. And I got to a certain point where I was just like, I don't even want to try anymore. I just don't. Like, I'm so tired of trying. And yeah, so that was where I was at. Now, come the day after Thanksgiving, I started having really bad labor contractions the same way in the nighttime. I decided to wait till the morning again because I was like, these are going to dwindle down. Now, these actually lasted all night, and when I woke up, they actually continued, and they were intense. And so I was like, okay, this is it. So I think we need to go to the hospital, but we can go to the hospital in the nighttime. I'll spend the day trying to see if these continue. And they continued throughout the day consistently. And these were painful, and I had to breathe through them. And I was so sure I was in labor. So we packed everything into the car. We dropped my daughter at my in-laws' house. We unloaded the car. They had everything. They had her pajamas, her food, everything that she was going to need to, stay overnight for however long I was in labor. And then their house was like 20 minutes from the hospital. Our house is like an hour away from the hospital. I really love this hospital. That's why, you guys. But yeah, our house is like an hour away. So then when we got to their house, we dropped her off. We were like 20 minutes from the hospital. And I kid you not, as soon as we started to drive to the hospital, they started to go away. After having them all night and then waking up and having them all day, 20 minutes before we get to the hospital, they start to dwindle down. And I just got so upset, and I was like, oh my gosh, we just did all this. We dropped my daughter off. We brought everything into the car. We loaded everything into my in-laws' house. It's like, oh my gosh, I was so discouraged. And then I went into triage, which is it's the area that they see you before they actually admit you to labor and delivery. And they checked me to see if I was dilated. And I was still not even a centimeter dilated. Taking a quick pause here to just show you my little man. All right, now back to how he got here. But yeah, so I was still only half a centimeter dilated. When I tell you, I was so discouraged. At this point, I was so discouraged. So I was like, okay, we're gonna have to drive back. We're gonna have to go pick up my daughter and then drive all the way back home and then load everything back into the house and then do all this. And at this point, I was just like, I was 39 weeks and 1 day. I was like, at this point, like, I'm not even going to try anymore. Whenever he comes, he comes. If he comes 41 weeks, let him come at 41 weeks, because I was just so over trying to get this labor started and then feeling like I was in labor and then I wasn't. So if you ever been pregnant before, then you know the anxiety around your due date and like waiting and not knowing when it's gonna come. It's like the worst thing, because you know it's coming, but you don't know when, and it's very, very hard. And so yeah, so they had me on the monitors and they basically were gonna send me back home. They said that it was false labor, but as they had me on the monitor, I found it weird that they were leaving me on the monitor for so long, and they kept coming in and they're like, okay, go on your side and do this and do that. Because if you know, when you go into triage, they have you on the monitor just to make sure everything's okay. And so they kept doing all that, and I was just like, man, when are they gonna send me home? I want to get back. I don't want to get back home. Back to pick up my daughter too late, because we got to drive all the way back. And then I was just like, it was just odd to me, but I didn't think anything of it. I was like, already in my head, I was like, okay, we're going back home. And then a doctor came in, and she basically laid it on me that the baby is not, like, his heart rate is not, it was a steady heart rate, but it was not being as reactive as they hoped. And it could have been his sleeping patterns. It could have been like he was just asleep right now, but they tried so much things to move me around, and usually it would cause some type of reaction. And so that they don't feel comfortable with the level of reaction that they're getting from a baby who's 39 weeks, and so that they want to induce me. When I tell you, like, the wave of panic that ran through me, it was crazy. Not that there's anything wrong with being induced, but it's just when your labor doesn't go as you thought, and something like induction or C-section or anything different than what you were expecting gets thrown at you, it can really throw you off guard, and take you off guard. And I started panicking really, really bad. I started shaking. I couldn't process what she was telling me. I was worried about the baby, and she was basically telling me that they don't feel comfortable sending me home. And I did ask if I had a choice, and she was like, I mean, you always have a choice to deny it, but we don't feel comfortable and we wouldn't recommend you going home. So I went through with the induction. Now that's when things got crazy. Oh my gosh, I only have like 3 minutes left to talk about this, but basically I panicked. I spoke to a bunch of people, my family, my sister-in-law who's been through an induction, and I calmed down. I did my prayers, I listened to some worship music, and I calmed down. So the plan for labor and induction was to give me 2 rounds of Cytotec, which are pills, and then start me on Pitocin, which is the IV medication. So what I've heard from inductions, what I heard from my sister-in-law, is that they could be pretty lengthy and could take up to 24 hours because you're forcing your body to be in labor. Mind you, I was still having contractions before they even started me on anything. They just weren't as consistent as before. So they gave me 1 pill, and they were supposed to wait 4 hours to give me the next pill and then the Pitocin. After the first pill, they came and checked on me, and I was having contractions the entire time. The pill wasn't supposed to start the contractions yet because it was just the first pill. They said I would start feeling contractions more towards the second pill and the Pitocin, but this one was to just soften my cervix. But after they checked me after the first pill, I was already 3 to 4 centimeters. So what I think is that I was like starting to go on labor on my own, and then once they gave me that second pill, it kind of just kick-started things. So the doctor came in and she checked me. She said they're not gonna do the second round because I'm already progressing so quickly, so they were gonna start me on Pitocin. They started me on Pitocin, and when I kid you not, like, things just went so quickly. I went from, the next time they came to check me was like 2 hours later, I was 6 centimeters. And I went from 6 centimeters to fully dilated 10 centimeters in like 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. The doctors had to rush in. Everything was crazy. I ended up pushing for like 2 pushes, 5 minutes, and he was out. And when I tell you, it was complete night and day difference from my first. My first, I was in labor for 16 hours. I took so long to get dilated, and I was pushing for like an hour and a half. So this labor and delivery was just so hectic because they had just came to check me, and then 10 minutes later I was like, I feel pressure. I feel like I need to push. Like, I feel pressure. And I'm so thankful that my nurse listened to me, and she went to go get the doctor, and then the doctor came and she checked me, and I was fully ready to go. And then she told me to do some practice pushes, and the practice pushes ended up being real pushes. I am so sorry I'm rushing through this story. You guys know I always chat my butt away whenever I do these chat with me's, and they're never long enough. This video is 18 minutes long, and it's still not long enough to explain everything. But yeah, you guys, that's how my labor and delivery went. I hope you guys enjoy my little story time. I know it was rushed. I'm so sorry. 18 minutes is just not enough to tell the story in full detail, but I will see you guys soon, hopefully, and I wish you all a very merry, blessed Christmas. I love you guys, and God bless.